Who's that right there? That's Santa Claus, isn't that? This book is called The Night Before Christmas. The title's right down here at the bottom instead of the top. And it was written by Clement C. Moore. And Charles Santori did the pictures. He illustrated it, painted or drew the pictures. I want to show you something. This book, The Night Before Christmas, or A Visit from St. Nicholas, the classic edition, is a very old story. This story by Clement C. Moore was published in the Troy Sentinel on December 23rd, 1823. Almost 200 years ago. I mean, the story of Jesus' birth is a couple of thousand years old, but that's pretty old. A couple hundred years old. In 4 years, it will be 200 years old. Let's tell this 200-year-old story. 'Twas the night before Christmas, when all through the house not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse. The stockings were hung by the chimney with care, in hopes that St. Nicholas soon would be there. The children were nestled all snug in their beds, while visions of sugar plums danced in their heads. And Mamma in her kerchief and I in my cap had just settled down for a long winter's nap. When out on the lawn there arose such a clatter, I sprang from my bed to see what was the matter. Now watch this. Away to the window I flew like a flash, tore open the shutters and threw up the sash. This is going to be a big illustration. The moon on the breast of the new fallen snow gave the luster of midday to objects below. Okay, now watch this. When what to my wondering eyes should appear but a miniature sleigh and 8 tiny reindeer. Look at that illustration. It's so big I have to move the book back and forth so you can see it. Okay, here we go. I'm going to fold it in, and we're going to finish the story. Here we go. With a little old driver, so lively and quick, I knew in a moment it must be Saint Nick. More rapid than eagles, his coursers they came. He calls his reindeer coursers. And he whistled, and he shouted, and he called them by name. Now Dasher, now Dancer, now Prancer and Vixen, on Comet, on Cupid, on Donner and Blitzen. To the top of the porch, to the top of the wall, now dash away, dash away, dash away all. As dry leaves that before the wild hurricane fly, when they meet with an obstacle, mount to the sky. So up to the housetop the coursers they flew, with a sleigh full of toys, and St. Nicholas too. And then in a twinkling I heard on the roof the the prancing and pawing of each little hoof. As I drew in my head and was turning around, down the chimney St. Nicholas came with a bound. He was dressed all in fur from his head to his foot, and his clothes were all tarnished with ashes and soot. A bundle of toys he had flung on his back, and he looked like a peddler just opening his pack. His eyes, how they twinkled, his dimples, how merry. His cheeks were like roses, his nose like a cherry. His droll little mouth was drawn up like a bow, and the beard on his chin was as white as the snow. The stump of a pipe he held tight in his teeth, and the smoke it encircled his head like a wreath. He had a broad face and a little round belly that shook when he laughed like a bowl full of jelly. He was chubby and plump, a right jolly old elf, and I laughed when I saw him in spite of myself. A wink of his eye and a twist of his head soon gave me to know I had nothing to dread. He spoke not a word, but went straight to his work, and filled all the stockings, then turned with a jerk. And laying his finger aside of his nose, and giving a nod, up the chimney he rose. He sprang to his sleigh, to his team gave a whistle, and away they all flew like the down of a thistle. But I heard him exclaim as he drove out of sight, "Merry Christmas to all, and to all a good night." The